2, 3 back-to-back losses, 3 back-to-back games without goals, and probably 4 back-to-back pretty bad performances if you throw the Leicester game in there. I know we won, but I don't think we were good. And I think we're probably out of the Europe race now. When you're 2 points behind Tottenham, they've got 2 games in hand. One of those against Everton. I think that's kind of done now. 5 points behind West Ham, and we've played that game in hand on them now. Yeah, I can't see it. I think that European race is done now. And look, I think that we were overperforming in January and December anyway, so I don't think anyone thought we were going to get Europe, at least confidently anyway. But it would have been nice to kind of have something to play for at least the last like 5-6 games, 6 game weeks of the season. But this one was probably the worst. I think when against Arsenal, I think everyone understands Arsenal are a good side, and against West Ham there was only a 2-3 day turnaround. So I think everyone could accept the lineup because you have to make changes. Today when it came out, I was actually kind of happy because I thought Hwang would play through the middle, and I saw that and I was like, okay, that makes sense. I don't really like Hwang out on the left. I think it's weird. I don't think he's good enough on the ball. He's in the bottom 1% for progressive passes out of wingers in Europe. That's not a coincidence. That's not like him being unlucky. He's just not creative. He's not that type of player. He looks like a striker playing out wide. So when I saw the lineup, I was like, okay, he's going to play up front. That'd be interesting. Palace aren't the most mobile side, at least in their back line anyway. And also when the game kicked off, Wang was on the left, and I was like, don't really know about this one. Obviously, Marcel played as well, which again was a bit weird. I thought Marcel was all right, to be fair. I don't think he was like our worst player or anything, but it was just a bit odd. At the start of the season, Marcel got picked over Aït-Nouri, and Aït-Nouri kind of forced his way in, and it feels like he's kind of just been put back on the bench now, which is a bit weird. Keanu Herver played, which I think everyone knew would happen. Obviously, he got injured. I think the only 2 real positives out of the game is Johnny got 70 minutes under him. He looked fine, I guess. Pedro got 63 minutes. Again, looked okay. They didn't get injured. That's a positive. But Pedence had some okay moments, I guess. Chiquinho came on and did okay, I guess. Kilman basically ruled himself out of the England squad, probably. I think Gareth was at the West Ham game, right? And he was there today as well. It was a silly penalty to give away. And yeah, so he probably won't get in the England squad, which I think is a good thing. I think they're the only real positives you can take out of that game, and they're barely positives. We got outrun. It felt like just the Palace game we played at home. It didn't feel like we really learned anything in the 3 months we played. I don't really get why we didn't play a midfield 3. It felt weird. Like when we played Palace away, we got battered. We barely had a shot on goal. We got outrun in the midfield. And we got done in the one-on-ones. And it was kind of the same today. Like whenever Elise or Zaha got down the wing, one of the midfielders came out to press them, and then all of a sudden you've got one midfielder just left in the centre, and we got outrun by the 3. And it was pretty predictable, to be honest. It felt like we didn't really learn anything, apart from the fact that we tried this weird false 9 thing with Pedence kind of playing through the middle. It just felt like the same performance, and we got exactly the same result. We lost 2-0 again. I don't know what the XG was, but it was probably pretty low. We didn't really deserve anything. And I think it's kind of done now. And it is a bit concerning. I think, obviously, he changed the lineup, and the same kind of performance happened. Obviously, Trincao played off the right against West Ham, and Fabio played up front. And it's kind of the same performance, if not worse. And this is what I was saying before. Like, I remember I tweeted about Trincao saying, like, you can blame Trincao all you want. You can blame Fabio Silva all you want for these sort of performances, but it's not just Trincao, or it's just not Fabio Silva, or it's just not Marcel. It's a team thing, and it feels like Wolves kind of hit their ceiling a bit, which is fine. I think everyone expected this to happen at some point. Like 8th in the table, he's still overperforming, let's be honest, given the squad we had at the start of the season. But it kind of just feels like Bruno needed to try something. Like in the last 10 minutes, I don't know what, I think it was the 78th minute that Chiquinho came on, right? We moved to a front, we played kind of a 4-2-4 or 4-2-3-1 or whatever. It kind of worked. Obviously, it was very, very small sample size. It's probably not sustainable necessarily. But it feels like Bruno's kind of got to give way to something. Either, for me, play a midfield 3 and kind of pack out the midfield and just kind of try and get higher up the pitch and have some actual control of the game. Or just go with a back 4 and go, fuck it, why not? It's the end of the season. We're probably not going to finish any lower than 8th. Southampton are 5 points behind us on equal games. I don't think we'll drop below 8th anyway. So it feels like either just pack out the midfield to try and move us higher up the pitch, or switch to a back four and just see what happens. It feels like we've kind of gotten to that point now. Obviously, the first goal, at first I thought it was a foul on Jose Zaha. It wasn't. It's a fair enough goal. Don't really know if that's a goalkeeping error, but it wasn't great. And then the penalty was the penalty. And it was a pretty blatant penalty. I don't think anyone can complain about either of those goals. And I think the thing that you have to take away from this game is it's not just like one player. You know, you can blame Keanu Hervey all you want. You can blame Trincao all you want. You can blame Fabio Silva all you want. You know, the last 4 or 5 performances since we moved away from that midfield three we played against Tottenham, it's a team issue. I think Bruno needs to do something. Look, Bruno's been amazing this season. I'm not slagging off Bruno Lage or anything, but it gets to a point where you had 4 back-to-back bad performances now, playing a midfield 2 and a front 3. None of our forwards are in form when you play a front 3. So either add another forward in and kind of hope it works, or take one of them out and pack out the midfield. We did that against Tottenham and it worked. And it feels like we're kind of at an impasse now. Do one or the other. Because if we keep doing this, it feels like we've kind of been worked out a bit. You know, Neves and Moutinho aren't press resistant. We don't have our first choice fullbacks for whatever reason. In the case of Nuri, and obviously Smeda's got that hamstring injury. So yeah, a deserved loss. Very few positives, and I think that kind of rules out of Europe. Be interested to see what Bruno does though to solve the goal scoring issue. For me, what I would do is I'd go for a midfield 3. Just stick, I don't know, Raul and Pedence up there or something and just kind of hope it works, try and get us higher up the pitch. Or if he wants to switch to back 4, do that as well. Because I thought Chiquinho came on and did pretty well, and that gives us an extra wide option. And stop playing Hwang out wide. I don't hate Hwang or anything, I genuinely don't. I think he's fine, but he doesn't have anything on the ball, for me personally, to be a wide player. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. Disappointing game. I think we're kind of out of Europe, and yeah, it feels like we're kind of plateauing a bit really at the wrong time of the season. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, peace.